our session. My name is Carissa, and I'm your teacher for this hour. It's great to have everyone here with me. For those of you who are just joining us, feel free to come on into the Hangout if you have your ticket. Very good. Okay, so hello, Karwan. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Please say it.
I said Karwan. Is that
Uh,
correct?
yeah, it's correct.
Karwan. Karwan.
Karan, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so tell me about yourself, Karwan.
Um, I am from Iraq, live in Kurdistan, if you heard about, and I'm graduate from computer science,
Uh-huh.
and I'm working now in company.
Okay, that sounds nice. That sounds good. So, how long have you been working for the company, your company?
Maybe 4 years and a half.
Okay, good. So, do you enjoy your job? Do you like it there?
Yeah, I like it too much.
Uh-huh. So, tell me about that. What do you love about your job?
My job keep you updated, and you should study all the time maybe because I am working in network field.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of new technology. You should study it and do it in the lab and test it so you can implement it in your network that you have. So most of the time you should check the new technologies and try to implement it.
Okay, that's good. So it sounds like it keeps you learning new things all of the time.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Good. Okay. Well, thank you for your introduction, Carwan. Um, I'm going to go ahead and say hello to your classmates. All right. Let's go ahead and start with Gava. Hello, Gava. How are you today?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. You?
I'm doing just fine today, Gava. All right. So, Gava, I'm not sure if you've been in a class with Carwan before, but would you mind introducing yourself?
Okay. Um, my name is Gavaluigi. Um, I um, I have 23 years old. I'm a junior software engineer. Um, right now, I finish my university, and I enjoy the holiday and working. um, yeah, that's it.
Okay, very good. All right, so Gava, why don't you tell us about your weekend? How was your weekend?
Was very good. I was going with my colleagues to the mountains in a mountains resort, and we sleep. I don't know how it means. 2 seconds, please. Okay. I sleep in a tent two nights, and was excellent. We made a big fire, and well, it was excellent.
Okay, that sounds really, really nice. Was it
Yeah,
cold? Was it cold outside?
not too cold. Uh, it was just perfect for a night in a tent.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, excellent. All right, good. So let's see. Let's go ahead and let's see. Okay, well, I just want to make sure that for those of you who would like to be in the class and participate, that you come on into the Hangout. All right, well, it's time for us to go ahead and get our lesson started. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got prepared. All right, so this lesson is going to be about clauses. All right, now when we say clause, what are we talking about? Oh, let's go ahead. I'm sorry?
Sentence, let's say.
Okay, so you say it's a sentence. All right, any other ideas? Okay, All right, I'm going to do a screen share, and we're going to just take a look at what's here. Okay, so Carwin, can you please read the definition for the word clause?
Clause, a part of the sentence that has its own subject and verb.
Good. Right there. Okay, so Carwin, what is a clause? According to what you read, what is it?
It's a part of sentence. Multiple clause make a sentence. Let's say in this case, like that.
Okay, all right. So normally, what do clauses have? What two things do clauses have?
Verb, subject, and verb.
Good, good. All right, good. Okay, so with that in mind, Gava, look at the sentence. When it rained, they went in, sorry. When it rained, they went inside. Okay. Gava, how many clauses do you see there in that sentence?
I think it's only one, because it's an action when it rain, and I think when it's rain, it is like a trigger, and the clue they went inside. I don't know if I'm right.
Okay, all right, good. Thanks for your answer. All right, I'm going to ask your classmate as well. Carwan, what do you think? How many clauses are in this sentence? I'm sorry, Carwin, I can't quite hear you. Check your microphone for me. Okay, it looks like your microphone is open or unmuted, but I can't quite hear you still.
I can't hear him. Me too.
There.
Hello?
Yes, there.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
The dress I bought looked very elegant, and it was on sale.
I'm sorry, not that one. The one above where it says when it rained, they went outside.
I cannot see this one.
Okay.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
When it rained, they went inside. It's two clause.
Okay. All right. Now, why do you say there are two clauses there? What two things happened here?
Rain and went inside.
Good. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Okay. Yeah. So. Very good. Okay. All right. Gava, can you read the answer for me?
Yeah. The sentence "when it rained they went inside" consists of two clauses. When it rained and they went inside. I was wrong.
That's okay. No problem. All right. So remember that your clause has a subject and a verb. Okay. Let's take that first clause just to make sure that we got it. When it rained. Okay. So Gava, tell me, what is the subject and verb in that clause?
It's difficult because I think the subject does not exist. When it rain, I don't know. Rain is the verb, yeah, and the subject. I don't know. The god. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's get some help. Owner, can you tell us what's the subject in that clause? When it rained.
When it rained, they went inside. I think they are subject. They.
Okay, in the first part, when it rained, in that clause, what is the subject?
When it rained. It, I think, subject.
That's it.
Okay.
It. Okay, so I'm going to try to put the subjects in orange, and I'll put the verb in blue. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so there are your two parts. Okay,
Range is verb.
right, that's right. Okay, and then let's see, Karwan, in the second part of that clause, they went inside. What's the subject and the verb there?
They.
Okay, that's your subject, and then what's the verb?
It's went.
Right, that's it. They went. Good. Okay, so these two are two phrases. Okay, now let's take a look at a different example. Okay, let's make sure that we got it. Okay, all right, owner. Well, I forgot to cover up the answer, so.
I didn't see it yet. I'm closing with my hand. Right. The dress, I'm closing it with my finger.
That's
the dress
okay. You
right.
can look at it. Go ahead.
The dress I bought looked very elegant, and it was on sale. There are two sentences. The dress I bought looked very elegant is first sentences. The dress is the subject. Bought is verb, I think. It was on sale. It is the subject. Say it was on sale. Was, I think, the verb.
Okay. All right. So good. Excellent job there. Okay. So our subjects here are I and then it. Those are our subjects. Very good. Okay. And then we have our verbs. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Sorry about that. That was an easy one for you. I guess it could serve as an example. Okay, very good. So we have the idea. Now, let's find out what kind of clause we just read about. Okay. All right. Gava, can you read that paragraph for me that starts with when?
Yep. When a clause expresses a complete thought and makes sense by itself, it is called the main or independent clause.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's take a look back at our examples. Okay, so we want to look for a clause that expresses a complete thought, or it just makes sense all on its own. All right, so let's take a look at the first sentence again. When it rained, they went inside. Okay, now in that sentence, which clause do you think is the main clause, Gava?
Yeah, I think it's obviously when it rains.
Okay,
Yeah.
now if I take away, let's take a look at that. Let's test it out. Okay, okay, I'm going to take that away. Now, does this make sense on its own?
No, because when exists the when. I think if the word when disappear, I think it's okay.
Yep, so if it was just it rained, that would be okay. All right, but if I say when it rained, okay,
We lost him, by the way.
Oh,
When it rained is it's a sentences like a adjective, so it doesn't express all of the sentences. The main sentences is they went inside. Yes, because this is the action.
Okay, now let's just make sure. This is a little bit technical, all right, but this is the main clause. Okay, the whole sentence is when it rained, they went inside. That's the sentence, but this is what we call the main clause. All right, so if I just say they went inside, does that make sense on its own?
Yeah.
Yep, it does. It makes perfect sense on its own. Okay, very good. Let's take the next one. All right, I'm sorry, guys. Let me just say hello to Eka. Hello, Eka. How are you today?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing just fine, Eka. Good to have you in class with us. All right. As you can see, you're in class with Gava, Karwan, and also Onir. Okay, so let's take a look at our example. okay, the one that we did before, the dress I bought looked very elegant and it was on sale. Okay, now which of those two clauses is the main clause? Carwan, what do you think?
The dress, we are talking about the dress.
Okay, so the dress I bought looked very elegant.
Very elegant and it was on sale. The dress I bought, I think.
Okay, so let's test that out. Okay, so the dress I bought. Okay, now does that make sense on its own?
No.
Nope. Okay, so let's take a look at the sentence again.
Looks very elegant. We should add this also.
Okay, so what if I took away just the last part of that sentence and said, the dress I bought looked very elegant. Does that make sense on its own?
I think yes.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I could say, guys, the dress I bought looked very elegant. That's a complete thought. It doesn't need anything else. Okay? All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the other phrase, and it was on sale. Okay? Is that a main clause also?
What's on sale? No, it's not complete.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so on sale means that I got it for a cheaper price. Okay, so when you use this phrase, it means that everything is being sold at a cheaper price on sale. Okay, all right, now if I said it was on sale, I'm just going to underline this part. If I don't take into consideration the conjunction and if I just say it was on sale, is that a complete thought?
No, I don't think.
Okay. All right, so it was on sale. Okay, what are you talking about? So we don't really know. Okay, so right. So just the dress I bought looked very elegant. Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay. All right, so let's scroll down just a little bit. And let's take a look at a few more examples just to make sure that we got the idea. All right, now let's take a look at the example. The example, let's see, Eka, can you please read the example for me?
Yeah, example, I met the man who saved my life.
Okay, all right, so look at the underlined part, Eka. I met the man.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a main clause? Is that an independent clause?
I think it's a main clause.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Your subject, I met. Okay, and then the rest of it is the man. I met the man. You could say that. That is a complete thought. Okay, it could stand on its own. Now what I want you to do is to look at the sentence, look at your particular sentence, and tell me where the main clause is. Okay, so Eka, go ahead and take number 1 for me.
Okay, she's wearing a necklace which looks nice. She's wearing a necklace is a main clause.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if I take away which looks nice, that sentence still makes sense on its own. Is that right?
Wearing necklace looks nice. Yes.
Yes, you're right about that. Okay, so I'm just going to underline that part. She's wearing a necklace. Oops. Very good. Okay, let's try number 2. Carwan, can you take number 2, please?
Sure. The teacher asked a question, but no one answered. The teacher asked a question.
Beautiful, that's right. Okay. Owner, can you take number 3, please?
All right. He takes medicine because he has high blood pressure. Both of them are meaningful when we divide them. So, so you can underline he takes medicine.
Good. He takes medicine. That's right. Okay. Yes, he has high blood pressure is also, if you put that on its own, right, it has meaning on its own. Very good. All right, number 4. And let's see. Let's have Gava. Can you take number 4, please?
Yeah. He became angry and shouted at her. Yeah, the main clause is he became angry.
Okay, he became angry. That's right. Okay, now let's have number 5. Okay, I'm going to go back to Eka.
The concert was postponed because of the rain. The concert was postponed is main clause.
That's right. Okay, the concert was postponed. Excellent job. Okay, guys, let me just test to make sure that we understand. Okay? Okay, and let's see. Let me ask owner, true or false? A main or an independent clause is also a simple sentence. True or false?
Let me think. Is also simple sentences. I guess it's true.
Okay, are you sure?
I think a main clause is simple sentences. Independent clause is simple sentences as well.
Okay, now
So
that's
it's true, I guess.
Yep. Okay, so let's go back up to our definition. What 2 things does a clause have to have? What are the 2 things that it needs to have?
I don't get the question. Can you ask in a different way?
Sure. What is a clause?
It's a clause is a sentences which has meaning on its own.
All right. Now that is a main clause. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. And what does a main clause include? It makes sense on its own, but there are 2 things that it has to have.
It's a subject and verb.
A subject and verb. Okay. So if you have a subject and a verb, you basically have a simple sentence. Okay. Now let's go ahead and prove that. Let's see if that's right. Okay. Remember when you, let's see. Okay, let's take this example again. Someone said, okay.
I guess someone turned off your mic. I don't know how.
Oh, okay. Enough. Okay. All right. So, owner, tell me, is this a sentence? Is this a simple sentence? It rained. Is that a simple sentence?
Sure.
Yeah, it is. It's got a subject and a verb. That's right. Okay, so the answer to that question is true. Okay, your main clause can be a simple sentence. Okay? All right, are there any questions about that? Does anyone have a doubt or any question about that?
Please, can you summarize it again?
Summarize the answer to this question?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's go back up and take a look at the definition of an independent clause. All right, so it says that when a clause expresses a complete thought and makes sense by itself, is called a main or independent clause. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the key words here. Okay, expresses a complete thought. Okay, is that what a simple sentence does? Does a simple sentence express a complete thought?
Okay.
It does. And does a simple sentence make sense by itself? Yes, it does. Okay, so a main or independent clause is also a simple sentence? Uh-huh. All right, very good. Good. Now let's go ahead. Let's talk about a different type of clause. Okay? Let's talk about what happens. Well, let's talk about the contrary. Okay, good. Eka, can you read the paragraph for me?
Okay. When a clause does not express complete thought on its own, but depends on another clause, a main clause, to express a complete idea, it is called a subordinate clause, dependent clause. A sentence having a subordinate clause must have a main clause.
Good. That's right. Okay, so now we're going to talk about dependent clauses. Something that is dependent on something else means that it needs something else. It's not good on its own. Okay? All right, very good. So let's take a look at the example. Okay, and let's see, Karwan, can you read the example for us?
Okay. She likes cracked pepper turkey breast, which tasted good.
Okay, good. Which tastes good.
Tastes. Okay.
Very good. Okay, so in that sentence, okay, I'm sorry, read the explanation for me. The clause?
The clause which tastes good in above sentence is subordinate clause because
I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure what just happened there.
clause it doesn't express complete thought and it cannot. Should I repeat it again?
Yes, I'm sorry. Let me just do one thing and then that way this will make sense. Okay, try that again for me. Excuse me.
From the example or the clause?
Just the clause. Mm-hmm.
Clause. Which tastes good in the above sentence is a subordinate clause because it doesn't express a complete thought and it cannot stand alone as a sentence. It depends on a main clause. She likes cracked pepper turkey breast. To express the complete thought, activate.
Okay, right there. Okay, thank you. Good. All right. Very good. Okay, so now, let me just ask you a question. Okay, so Karwan, which tastes good? Does that make sense on its own? Which tastes good?
No.
No. So what kind of clause is that?
It's independent. It's a subordinary.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so which tastes good is what we would call a subordinate.
Subordinate.
Mm-hmm. It's a subordinate clause, or you could also call it a dependent clause. Let's take a look at that here at the top. Okay, a dependent clause. Very good. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple more examples. Okay, let's go back up to the example that we started off with. All right. Okay, when it rained, and also, so when it rained, that doesn't make sense on its own. Okay, now we know why, because it's a dependent clause. Okay, it depends on they went inside. Okay, very good. Okay, or if you look at the other examples, I met the man who saved my life. Okay, if I just look at who saved my life, does that make sense on its own?
No.
No, it doesn't. That's right. Or which looks nice.
Also.
That's right. Okay. Shouted at her. Okay.
Also, no.
Very right. So that doesn't make sense either. Okay. Now let's practice it a little bit more.
Teacher, one question.
Yes, please.
Go back to the examples.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say she is wearing a necklace which looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Between the necklace and which, can I put a comma? Or it's not possible?
It's not necessary.
Not necessary.
It isn't
And also
necessary.
for medical and because, it's also no need.
Right, because you're just giving a simple, you're giving an explanation right afterwards. Okay, so the concert was postponed because of the rain, so you do not need a comma there. No.
But on the first, you add a comma if you can go back.
On the first one, let's see.
This one.
Okay. When it rained?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because you I put a pause, I put a comma there because you naturally pause. I
Because
separate.
both of them.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not really, I mean, I am giving a type of an explanation here, but it's not like because. So if I say because, for example, they went inside because it rained. Like I wouldn't use a comma there. Here I do because I'm showing a separation here. Okay, when it rained, comma. There's a natural pause when you say it. When it rained, the comma marks a pause. They went inside.
Okay.
But if I just run that on, when it rained, they went inside, that doesn't have the same meaning, right? It actually takes away from the meaning.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, good. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Let's take a look at an activity. Okay, so in this activity, again, what you're going to do is to identify the subordinate clause. Okay, I think we got it for the first one. Okay, so we know that which looks nice, that is going to be the subordinate clause. Okay, let's start with number 2. Eka, how about number 2? What's the subordinate clause in that sentence?
Okay, the teacher asked the question, and everyone knew the answer. The teacher asked the question is as a main clause.
Good. And the subordinate clause?
And everyone knew the answer.
Right. Okay, that's a teacher's dream. Everyone knows the answer. Very good. Okay. All right, Gava, can you take number 3 for us?
Yeah. He takes medicine because he has high blood pressure. Okay. The subordinate is because he has high blood pressure.
That's right. There you go. Okay, because he has high blood pressure. Very good. Let's have number 4. Carwin?
Yes. He became angry and shouted at him. Shouted at him, subordinate.
Good. And shouted at her. That's right.
At her. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Good. Oner, how about number 5?
Carissa, I'm opposed to that. In the fourth sentences, I guess shouted at her is main clause because it's the result. And why he shouted at her? Because he was angry. So I think I'm opposed to that. I think he became angry is subordinate clause, and shouted at her is the main clause because it's the result.
Okay. Now let's take a look again at what qualifies as a main clause. Okay, remember it expresses a complete thought and it makes sense on its own. So let's see if it passes the test. Okay, and shouted at her. Does that express a complete thought?
If we eliminate and conjunction and shouted at her is meaningful, but with and, no.
And let's try it. Even if we take away and, shouted at her. Okay.
If we add he.
Right. Okay. So remember, it has to have a subject and a verb. It has to make sense on its own for it to be a main clause.
All right, then it's subordinate.
Okay.
For the 5, the concert was postponed because of the rain. The concert was postponed is the main clause. Because of the rain is subordinate clause.
There
because
you go.
It's identify the why concert was postponed.
Good. All right. Now it's a subordinate clause. Now remember, let's talk about why. That's right. So it depends on the main clause. Okay, remember? That's right. And you said that because it's explaining the main clause. Very good. Okay, now let's see. Where is Gava? Gava?
Yeah.
All right. So I'd like you to tell me true or false. A main clause needs a subordinate clause to express a complete idea. True
Yeah.
or false?
False.
Mm.
Yeah. False because the main clause is independent.
That's right. You know, it doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, good. Good. Excellent job. All right, are there any questions so far about our independent and dependent clauses? Any questions? Okay. All right. Mhm.
Well, I am opposed to that the last question again.
Mhm.
When we look at the sentences above, of the 5 sentences, I mean, she is wearing a necklace. The teacher asked a question. These are all simple main clauses, so they doesn't express an idea, or they doesn't identify or describe an a thing. Let's say when we need, I think, to express main clause, we should have subordinate clause. Why don't we have? Why do you think that?
Okay. All right. Again, let's go back up to the definition of a main clause.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Let's go back, and this is great for review. All right. So, owner, would you mind reading the definition for me? When it's
When
right
a
there.
clause express a complete, when a clause expresses a complete thought and makes sense by itself, it's called the main or independent clause. Okay, it's clear. All right.
Good, good. No, your questions are really good. Okay, so if you're not quite sure about something, it's great to ask questions just like you're doing. Okay, but good. So just going back to review that complete thought. Very good. Okay,
All right, thank you.
excellent job. Thank you for your questions. Okay, and let's now take a couple of more sentences. Okay, these are a little bit different than the ones we had above. Okay, now I want you to tell me dependent or independent clause. Okay, the part that is in bold, or not bold, but are in capital letters. I want you to tell me which clause that is. Okay, and I want you to explain your answer. Okay, good. Carwan, can you take number 1, please?
Okay. If you don't fix the hole in the ceiling, it will continue to leak. If you didn't fix the hole in the ceiling, it will continue to leak. Dependent clause, it's in the small case, and the capital, it's independent clause.
Okay, so it will continue to leak. You're saying that's the main clause, or that's the independent clause.
It's dependent clause. Let's say the small word. If you don't fix the hole in the ceiling, no, it's not. It's independent clause.
Okay, so let me just make sure I get it. So the part that's in capital letters, you're saying that's the independent clause. Is that right?
Yeah.
It will continue to leak. Yeah, like that.
Okay. Now tell me why you think that's the independent clause.
If you don't fix the hole in the ceiling. Sorry, just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fix the hole in the ceiling. The first part, it's not clear. If you don't fix the hole in the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's independent, this one. It will continue to leak. It's also independent also.
Okay. All right. Now let's do a test.
Can I help her? Can I help him? It's okay.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. All right. So if I take away the rest of that sentence, does this part make sense on its own?
No, it's not complete sentence. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's need another. It's need the whole, I think.
That's right.
It need the leak.
Right, it needs the leak. That's good. Okay. Yeah, go let's see. I'm sorry, who asked me? Okay, was that owner? Was that you that said you wanted to explain?
No, me, Gava.
Gava, okay, Gava, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I want to help him. I want to say what you said to him. If you eliminate the proposition, if you don't fix the wall in the ceiling, it will continue to leak. It is independent, and if you don't fix the wall in the ceiling, you feel that the proposition it's not right. It feel that something is missing. So is dependent.
Good job. All right, let's hear from Eka. Eka, can you take number 2 for me?
Okay, while my car is being painted, I will need to take the bath. I think while my car is being painted is independent sentence, and I will need to take the bath is a dependent sentence.
Okay, so
Sorry, clouds, not a sentence, clouds.
right, clause. Okay, now let's test that out, Eka. Let's see if you're right about that. Okay, now if I take away that part of the sentence and I simply say, while my car is being painted, can that stand alone?
I don't think so.
It can't stand alone. All right, so does that make this a dependent or an independent clause?
Dependent clause.
That's dependent. Right? All right, that's dependent. Okay, if I take away this part, I will need to take the bus. Can that stand alone?
Yes.
Yeah, it can. Right, very good. So that's your test. Okay, so if you're not sure, just cover it up and see if it makes sense on its own. Okay, good, Eka, good job. Okay, and let's see. Let's go ahead and have Owner. Owner, can you take number 3, please?
Sure. It isn't necessary to drive so fast if you leave on time. I think it isn't necessary to drive so fast is main clause, so it's independent clause. If you leave on time is on its own, it's meaningless. I think it's subordinate clause, so it's dependent clause.
Very good.
If you leave on time, dependent. The other one is independent.
I'm sorry, say that again. Say that one more time. The last part, if you leave on time, did you tell me that that's dependent or independent?
Subordinate. Subordinate.
Okay.
Dependent.
There you go. There you go. There we go. All right, good. Okay, let's go ahead to number 4. And let's see, Karwan, I think we're back to you.
No, I think it's me.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Gava. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Gava.
Yeah, no problem. Before you taking a new medication, you will need to check the side effects. You will need to check the side effects. It's the main clause. It's independent clause.
Good, very good. Okay, and let's take a look at number 5. Okay, I think now we're back to Karwan.
I can't go to the movie since I don't have any money. I can't go to the movie. It's independent. I don't have any money. Also independent. So it's independent clause.
Okay, now the part that's in capital is since I don't have any money.
Okay. It's dependent.
All right, since I don't have any money, that would be dependent. Good. Okay, now let's take a look at number 6. Excuse me, number 6. Eka, go ahead, please, with number 6.
Okay. Whether he attends the party or not, I have decided to go. First part, whether he attends the party or not, is independent clause, and I have decided to go. It's dependent clause.
Okay. All right. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. No.
Okay. All right. Let's try it. Let's try it. I'm gonna take away. Okay. All right. So Eka, let's read this part of the sentence. Whether he attends the party or not.
But Carissa, we have 2 sentences.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Whether he attended the party or not.
All right. So whether he attends the party or not. Okay. Is that a complete sentence?
No.
No, right? That can't stand on its own. Like, I can't just out of the blue say whether he attends the party or not. Right? It needs something else. What does it need? Here it is.
Kind of result of that, or.
Yeah. So let's make sure that we understand what this sentence is saying. Okay. So let's say that owner is having a party. And maybe I had planned to go with Eka, okay? But you haven't decided yet, Eka, if you're going to owner's party. So I could say, whether Eka goes or not, I've decided to go. Okay? Or I could simply say, I've decided to go. I don't need to say whether he attends the party or not. It's not crucial to this sentence. Okay, so whether he attends or not, Eka, is that dependent or is it independent?
Independent.
No,
sorry. Dependent, yeah. I confused the one.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, yeah, good. That would be a dependent clause. That's right. It needs something else to make sense.
Sometimes is a kind of opposite.
Yeah, you're right. Good. Okay, good. So, okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and I think we're up to owner. Owner, number 7, please.
All right. I will stop playing the drums when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep is subordinate clause, so it's dependent. I will stop playing the drums is independent, main clause.
Good. Right. Okay. All right. And let's have Gava. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 8, please.
Yeah. Since you haven't cleaned your room, you can go to the concert. The first clause in the it's a dependent clause.
That's right. Okay, all right, let's go ahead. Just a couple more, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here for today. All right, let's have number 9, and let's see. Carwin, your turn, please.
Until he apologized to me for his rude behavior, I refused to see him. I refused to see him. It's dependent.
Okay, all right, let's see. Let me take it away. Let me take the other part away. Now tell me, does that make sense on its own, Carwin?
I refuse to see him. There's something missing, yeah. Okay, it's dependent clause in this
Okay.
case.
All right. Actually, on that sentence, nothing is missing.
I refuse to see.
I refuse to see him. Okay, that is a complete thought. Or I don't want to see him. I will not see him. I refuse to see him. That's an independent clause. I could say that's a complete sentence. It's got a subject, it's got a verb, and it can stand alone. All right, on the contrary, let's take the other part away. Let's take away I refuse to see him until he apologizes to me for his rude behavior. Can that stand on its own?
Until he apologized to me. No, also it's depend clause.
That's the dependent clause. Okay, so this part, I refuse to see him, that is our independent clause. That can stand on its own.
Okay.
Okay, all right, and let's try our, yes,
We can build a sentences with two independent clauses, but we can't build two sentences with two we cannot build a sentences with two dependent clause, right?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to refer you to this. Let's look at the definition for the independent clause. So when a clause does not express a complete thought on its own, but depends on the main clause, it's called the subordinate clause. A sentence having a subordinate clause must have a, what must it have?
Main clause.
A main clause. Right? You don't have a sentence if you don't have a main clause.
All right.
Good question. That's a very good question. You can have a main clause with more than one subordinate clause. Okay, good. All right, last question. Honestly, I think I've lost count. Whose turn is it? I think I've lost count. Okay.
I think Eka, I think.
You think it's back to Eka?
Also,
Yeah. Okay, good. Eka, everybody has agreed that it's you.
I took my umbrella because it looked like it might rain, and I took my umbrella as a dependent clause, independent clause,
Right.
and because it looked like it might rain, it's dependent clause.
Good, that's right. You got it, Eka. Very good. All right, guys, let's just review. Okay? All right, so a clause has a subject and a verb. Okay? What are the two types of clauses? Owner, can you tell me the two types of clauses?
Main clause and dependent clauses.
Very
are two
good.
types of clauses.
Very good. So you have your main, or your independent, or your subordinate, or and your dependent. Very good. Okay. And just for review. Okay. Just for review. Karwan, true or false? A main or independent clause is also a simple sentence. True or false?
True.
Yes, that's right. It's also a simple sentence because remember, it stands on its own and makes a complete thought. Okay? All right, guys, that's going to do it for our lesson for today. This was a little bit challenging, but it was good. You had some really good questions. Thank you for asking them. Hopefully you got satisfying answers to your questions. All right, so I'll look out for you in my future classes. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Great day. Bye-bye, teacher.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.